Hi, this is our scripture and scrapping for the month of June 2026. And our verse this month, the first verse is, "For you have been my refuge, a tower of strength against the enemy." Psalm 61:3. We're actually going to have two verses because we're going to have two different layouts. Both of them about God being our tower of strength, our tower of refuge. And I'm doing these with layouts made to look like castles. As most of you know, I went to Europe with my friend and my husband, and we went and saw different castles and other fun things. The first layout is going to be a kind of a more simple castle. We saw some that were ruins. I think of this more as that. This is one I made, this layout for my granddaughter, and I used the gold molten lava paper, but I'm going to use paper that I made with inks yesterday. The sketch was a sketch from the virtual crop several years ago, and it was a one-page sketch, but we're going to turn it into a two-page layout. I'm going to do a mirror image on the other side, and I've taken out different elements and put in different elements. So I'll post an adjusted sketch with measurements in my email to you and on the Facebook site. If you are watching this on YouTube and you are not part of that Facebook group or on my emails, please contact me and I'll see if I can get you hooked up to that. And so that's what we're going to work on first, is this first layout. I'm doing it on two pieces of the bright white paper, and I used blue and gray ink to kind of give that a little bit of a cloudy sky look. We had some days that were beautiful, some days that were very rainy, and a lot that were with a little bit of clouds. And most of this paper is going to be covered up with the castle, so I just inked the top of it. So the first thing I'm going to add are the two towers on either side, and I'm going to put them, these are 3 inches wide. Measurement there, just to be sure. 3.5. And I have crenulated the top. That was a word I learned from Anne Elizabeth. And for a while, only royalty could have crenulations. That is not the case now, but I crenulated the tops of this one and the other pieces, and I'm going to show you how I did that. But I'm going to stick this one down first. When I finish the layouts and I'm finished with the video, I will go back and add some foam tape to some of the elements just to give it a little bit more dimension. But because I want to move as quickly as I can, I'm going to just use regular tape or repositionable even. The other tower is same measurements, but I haven't crenulated it yet. What I have done is I've marked at the top, starting at 1/2 inch, and then every 3/4 I've added another measurement, and then I made a line at 5/8. The reason I did that is I'm going to use this 3/4 inch old square maker. My original layout, I just cut by hand, doing, making that sort of shape. But to be more exact, I thought I'd do this and show you how I'm doing it. I'm turning the punch upside down and adding the paper in here where I can see the marks. I don't want it to go all the way in like this. I just want it to come off the edge, but I wanted to have some sort of guideline. It may not be exactly perfect, but these are old castles, so it'll be okay. So just to show you how I did that. So I punched that, and like all the measurements for where to mark are also going to be in some photos that I add with the video link in the email and then on the Facebook page. So I'm going to stick this on the other side, all the way at the edge. And then we've got some large pieces we're going to add. And this is a little larger than I remembered it being, but I'm going to make it work. I'm going to stick it right here at the, and I'll check my measurements before I post those, because this is going to tuck under that tower. Maybe that's what I wanted to do. It'll be okay. That's the way it works out. And just come out to the, line it up at the outside edge, both sides. And I chose a little bit darker than the tower color just so it makes those towers stand out. Once again, this is a little bigger than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. Better too big, I can trim off, than too small. So that goes under there like that. Then, the question is, did I mess that one up? Well, I'm going to go ahead and put this, yeah. Let me show you how it's supposed to look, and then I'll see if I can adjust it. It's supposed to go, maybe we'll just make it in front. How about that? The towers will be kind of at the back. That way I don't have to change any measurements. I like it. So this is a smaller piece. It's an inch smaller on both the top and the side. Give you sort of a frame look there. And do the same thing over here. Just go ahead and overlap it outside of the tower there. And make a smaller piece. Like that. All right. And then I have taken my paper and cut a strip and then use that same 3/4 inch to go with it. See, that turned out just fine. I'm not sure what my other measurements were, but that's okay. Could do it like that. I'm not sure which one I like better. Let me look at that. You know, I think I'm going to go up here because I think that'll tie it all together. I will use repositionable just in case I change my mind. You could use regular paper. Like I said, I wanted to try out a technique using ink and a border punch to use as a stencil. All right, so that's the basic layout. It has room for some horizontal pictures and some vertical pictures. I'm not going to add those on right yet, but I will put the photo placement pieces after we finish the video. But this was made for 3 pictures on each side, but you could adjust the sizes and get more or less depending on what you have. And then I'm going to add my verse somewhere where I can see it really well. And I'll post a picture of that with the measurements and other things once I have that all done. But that's layout number 1. Layout number 2 has a lot more pieces. I used paper from the Medieval Moments paper pack, the kind of the real small little stones, and I could have used a sticker out of here, but I wanted to save the sticker for something later, so I used a different tool to make that, and I'll show you later. But this is the layout, and this is the other verse. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. Proverbs 18:10. I love that verse too. So, like I said, you could use some of the molten lava paper. I think the platinum would be beautiful. I use some of the black for the roofs on here. The gold is nice. Whatever kind of castle you want to do. But let me grab all the rest of the pieces. I've used this stone paper from that pack. And once again, I just want to use the bright white paper cardstock here, and I inked it with just light blue and dark blue to give a more sunny day, because I'm using a little bit darker tones. I wanted to have a nice sunny day. So I think I've probably mixed all my pieces up. So this has quite a few pieces. So we're going to start kind of at one side and build over, because it has 5 towers, each with their own roof. It has a middle section and it has a gate. So let's start with that first, maybe. Well, we're gonna, for sure, take this middle piece, and this is 7 by, like I said, I do have measurements, but I've written and changed and other things, because this was a basic sketch and I have added all kinds of stuff to it and taken some things away. But I will have a cleaned up copy there. But this door is 4.5 by 3.25. And I used the medium size circle to round, with the red blade on the outside to round it off. And I'm going to stick this on here because we're going to end up putting this across the middle of these two pages. And we'll cut it once we get everything else laid down. But I'm just going to kind of lay it here. We'll end up having to cut through that at some point. But we have some different towers. We have a 4.5-inch tower. We have a 4-inch tower. And these are going to go down to the bottom. We have a middle tower that's going to go in here. We have a little short tower here. And we have a little short tower over here. Let me check my layout real quick and make sure I've got those 2 little towers in the right spot. I think I have. Yes, okay. So we're going to start, I'm going to just lay all the towers, and they're going to go all the way down to the bottom of the page. So I'm going to kind of stick this one, leave a little bit of room, because we need a little bit of room for the roof to hang over. Then I'll put this tower next to that. And a lot of this is going to have photos over the top, so you won't see exactly where it divides. So I'm not too worried about matching the pattern of the paper. I am just trying to get them where kind of a solid piece. I'm going to go ahead and stick this down right like that. And you can see I have part of it that's going to go onto the other page. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this tower behind it, kind of overlap. And it's going to go down. I should have put that one down underneath, so hold on. All the things you think about. I'm going to go ahead and put it on underneath this part here. You're not going to see a lot of it. And you can see this edge, instead of cutting, I have used the postage stamp edge border maker cartridge. And it is a really nice small border that it is very nice. I like that. So now, okay, now that I've got that on there, now I'm going to go ahead and just use my trimmer and trim that off at the edge of the page. I can get it stick where I don't pull it off. Most people have told me I need to put more tape runner on, and I can definitely see it here. So I'm going to just do that and trim it off. All right, so that's this page here, and then I'm going to just start right here on the right hand page. And add it like that. And then this other taller tower is going to be right here. And then the last small one will be right here. Okay, so that's the basic towers. Now we have to have roofs on here. And I'm going to start with the tallest one to show you what I did. This is a 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 inch square. And what do I do with my scissors? Well, I will use my trimmer instead. Oh, no, here's some scissors. Because I use scissors on all the others, so just to give it the same look. When I have something like this that I want to cut, I fold it in half and kind of crease it just a little bit to make it stay where I want it. And then I cut from the outside corner to the fold. So it gives you a couple of leftover triangles and a piece here, which I'm going to use as my roof. So that's one. I went ahead and cut the others so you don't have to watch me do that. Here's another. Then this is the middle sized. And I could have went down and done a little more inking, I see that now, but I think it'll be okay. And I should have stuck this one on before I cut the paper, but I was just my usual distracted self. So we'll fix that now. And add that to the second page. There we go. And then we've got roofs for these towers here. And last but not least, we've got two more little decorative elements. One is like this little wall that I'm going to put down at the bottom. And like I said, I will probably pop that up with foam tape or foam squares, but I'm just going to stick it on for right now. And I punched it and then trimmed it to 3/4 inch. And made it big enough to go across these two sections here. Yeah, you cannot see that at all with without foam tape, so I will definitely just lay it here where it's kind of on here. And I've got one for the other side. When I did this before, I used stickers, which had a little bit more contrast. So I will definitely pop that up where you'll be able to see that little wall. And then I have some banners for the towers for a little bit more color. And I just took little rectangles and I cut them on the diagonal to give myself some flags. And you can add them in however you like. Some nice bigger ones. Those could probably be a little smaller, but and one for the middle. I left them kind of connected so they wouldn't get lost. So now I'll add that one in over here. And then that's our basic layout. It does have room for, it also had 3 photos on each page in the sketch. One vertical and then 2 horizontal, but kind of angled a little differently. But depending on what you want to do with your photos, you can make it, adjust it a little bit differently. I will add some photo placement squares, and there's my verse, and that's the completed layout. I look forward to seeing what everybody does, and I will post completed photos and the measurements as well. Thank you. Oh, shoot.